So I can include those as well if you'd like.
If you just write them out so
Okay,
we can learn the acronyms.
sure.
Thank you.
Any other board comments? Dr. Davis? Dr. Smiley?
No, I don't have anything.
Thank you. We have a motion?
Public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, public comment.
Public comment. No comment. Thank you.
This one's just board consensus
Okay.
to receive and file, so you don't need a formal motion.
I approve it.
To know if any board member does not want to accept it and receive it.
Do we have consensus?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 2. Banking powers, 5-star bank for current board members and removing former board members. Board of Directors.
2 seconds, please. So this is to resolution 2024-60 is authorizing the new board of directors, banking powers at our current bank, which is 5-star bank, and removing former directors, Rena Gregory, Anthony Falcons, and Berkeley Baker.
Okay, any board comment?
That's true.
Directors?
No.
Okay. Do we have any public comment on this item? Seeing none. Okay. We have
I have a motion to adopt.
I second. Yeah, 2 seconds.
Which one of you?
Yeah. You're gonna give it to the new kid?
Yeah,
Okay.
give it to the new kid.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor by resolution 2024-60 for banking powers, 5-star bank for current board members and removing former board members by Director Smiley, second by Director Beatty. We'll have a vote. Director Beatty?
Yes.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Smiley?
Yes.
Director Davis?
Yes.
Director Sangster?
yes.
Passes 5-0 with no absence.
Moving on to item number 3. LAFCO Special District Representative nomination, 2 seats open.
So on December 9th, we received notice from LAFCO that 2 seats are open, one for a partial term, one for a full term. Full term is 4 years ending in 2028. The other is 2 years ending in 2026. This board can nominate up to 2 individuals for those seats. If more than 2 nominations are received by LAFCO, then they'll have an election. In prior years, that election has been a similar notice to the district. It'll be brought to the board. The board will have an opportunity to vote on one or multiple candidates that they feel are appropriate for those positions. At this time, this is just an opportunity for this board to nominate one of the 5 of you as a candidate for one of those positions, or 2 of you for both of those positions. If you so choose.
So, question would have to be board members only.
It is board members only.
Okay.
And if you're interested.
Yeah, you would need to be interested.
Interesting.
We do not have to nominate anybody, but if there is interest, then now is the time to go.
You want interest? No.
Come on, public comment. Yeah, public comment.
Yeah.
If you guys are done
I'd like to
discussing
not
that.
nominate you.
Yeah. Well, I got a question. The way I read this, it doesn't say it has to be a board member.
Fairly certain it's that you have to be an elected official or a board member. So it must be an elected board of director from your respective district. It's the second line under the instructions.
Where's that elected?
They don't go by the rules.
Yeah. Sort of an election by fiat, isn't it?
Well,
It was elected by fiat, isn't it? Yeah.
Hear from the public, maybe?
Take public comment.
Yeah, but, public comment.
oh my God, yes. Thank you. Rick Greenwald, I've been going to LAFCO meetings for 12 years, let me tell you.
the officials that are there are not board members that are appointed by other people, and there is one person from the public that's appointed by whoever. I haven't figured that out yet in 12 years. They make a lot of decisions that matter, and the problem is they don't stand by their decisions. You have 2 illegal water districts that are in violation of the water code that were approved by LAFCO, that are in violation of LAFCO rules. And it was because of the people who sit on LAFCO. One of them primarily Bruce Gibson. And I don't know what happens outside of that room, but I can tell you this. The water code doesn't matter for them, the water code doesn't matter for me. If they don't have to go by their own rules, I don't know why I have to go by their rules. I would love if somebody on this board would be willing once a month to go sit on that board and to make sure that your constituents and the people in this county understand that there's somebody there that's abiding by the rules, regardless of whatever they are, and looking out for what's supposed to happen. If you don't want to do it, point me, annoy me, whatever, I'll go do it. I've been there every day anyway, it doesn't matter. I know you can't do that, and it doesn't matter. My point is, all these little things really do matter in the whole big picture of everything that goes on in your C.S.D. and the county and everything else. And this is just another way to get your voice heard. So things will happen for your C.S.D. that may not happen because you don't have a voice or a dog in the race. So don't let these other special districts or these other communities, Pismo, whoever, don't let them just put a guy in there. You guys put a guy in there. Represent yourselves. It ain't that big a deal. I'll be there to back you up. I'm the biggest guy in the room. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Question.
Yes.
What is their schedule?
Once a month.
What days do they meet?
Third Wednesday or some weird ass.
Yeah, what time of day?
9 a.m. to normally before lunch dinner time.
Not interested.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
If it helps, they cancel a lot of meetings.
Yes, they do.
Director Davis?
I nominate myself.
Want to do it?
Yeah.
Good idea.
A second.
Ashley's answer.
No.
Oh, you have to go.
I have a full-time job.
I do too.
You're in St. Louis.
I'll drive you.
So we have a nomination of Director Davis and a second by Director Sangster. Obviously, you're willing if you nominate yourself, so we'll see what that works.
And you have a problem with it? It's not an official vote, is it?
Yeah, because this board has to.
Okay, official vote then.
So have a vote.
Davis, Director Sangster, let's go with Director Smiley,
No.
Director Green,
Yes.
Director Beatty,
Yes.
Director Davis,
Yeah.
Director Sangster.
Yes.
Passes 4-1-0 absent.
Thank you, Director Davis.
Thank you, Director Davis. Can we convince you for the second seat, Director Davis?
So just
This is just starting.
just for clarification, there is a 2-year and a 4-year. I guess we should clarify this before, but we can put for both seats, and you can run for both if that's your choice.
Yeah, unless anybody else.
I got 2 more years here.
So you want 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 years till December 2026.
Go tell your dad.
Hey, but I'm gonna be 78 next week.
Happy birthday.
Make sure it's not automatic. We're nominating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went over that. So We'll just need you to come in and sign the form so we can send it off to them
We're
at our office.
okay.
Okay. Moving on to item number 4. Review proposal for annual financial audit services for a 3-year period for years ending June 30th, 2025, 26, and 27, and authorize the general manager to execute a professional services agreement with Moss, Levy, and Hartzheim, LLP, by resolution 2024-62.
So during the October board meeting, the board authorized release of an RFP for independent auditing service for 3 years for the 2025, 26, 27 year ends, which the responses were due December 6th at noon. As of that date, we had received 1 response from Moss, Levy, Hartzheim, LLP. As is our standard, it was circulated to the state clearinghouse, bid rooms, and any auditing firms that had previously been sent RFPs or had shown any interest in these types of services, or had performed auditing services for other area agencies. We only received 1 bid. We reviewed their proposal and found that it met the terms of the RFP and was being presented to the board for a contract approval. In reviewing their fees, they are slightly higher than this last 3-year stint, but they are in line with the previous increase. They're about $1,000, $1,500 more than last time. So it's a modest increase. For purposes of this agreement, the initial 24-25 fiscal year would be $13,500, 25-26 would be $13,975, and 26-27 would be $14,475. With a grand total of $41,950 for the 3-year period. The proposal is included in your board packet. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to discuss them with you.
So the fee schedule for fiscal year 24-25 said that it falls in line with what we've been paying for the previous 3-year agreement based on the annual increase. So if we looked at 23-24, going to 24-25, it's essentially the same increase.
So I don't have the number right in front of me for this fiscal year, but it's roughly 11 something, so it's about $2,000 more.
Okay.
In the last one. The increase per year is roughly in line with the previous ones as far as I recall.
Okay. Board comments? No board comment. Do you have any public comment on this item? No. All right. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt. I second it.
I have a motion on the floor by Director Smiley to approve Resolution 2024-62 for annual financial auditing service for the 3-year period and authorize the general manager to execute a professional service agreement with Moss, Levy, and Hartzheim. By Director Smiley, second by Director Beatty. Have a vote. Director Davis?
Yes.
Director Beatty?
Yes.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Smiley?
Yes.
Director Sangster?
Yes.
Passes 5-0, no absence.
Moving on, item 5, termination of grant funding agreement between the County of San Luis Obispo and San Miguel Community Service District for the implementation of the San Miguel Recycled Water Supply Project.
So during the regular meeting held October 24th, 2024, the board reviewed a proposal to award a construction contract for the construction of the recycled water pipeline. This agenda item was tabled to November 21st. At the November meeting, the board voted unanimously to reject all proposals and to suspend the project. During the October and November board meetings, the board was advised that suspending the project would result in loss of the grant funding that was awarded for the design and construction of this project. This was in addition to the possibility that the district may need to repay monies already paid to the district for the completed design, environmental, and permitting. The project started in November 22. The board approved a grant funding agreement between the district and the county of San Luis Obispo for $1 million in Sustainable Groundwater Management Act grant funds for the recycled water pipeline project. As a condition of the grant, all work needed to be completed by April 1st, 2025, and all invoices need to be submitted by June 30th, 2025. By rejecting the bids to this project at the November board meeting, the board was advised that there would be, or not be sufficient time to complete the project under grant agreement. That's due to if we were to go out and rebid the project, there wouldn't be sufficient time to rebid the project, award it, and still construct it, which was not the intent of the board in the first place at that point. But I notified the county of the board's action after the meeting. As a result of the action taken in the November board meeting, the district must terminate its funding agreement with the county as it will not be able to fulfill its initial obligation to complete the project. This will forfeit any remaining funding for the project and may, at the discretion of the Department of Water Resources, trigger repayment of any fees already paid to the district. Repayment will be entirely up to DWR's discretion and has not been determined at the time of this report. And attached is the full funding agreement. However, Exhibit D, specifically D.41, termination by SMCSD is applicable to this request for termination. As stated in the section, a reason must be given, and based on prior board action, the reason that this project exceeds grant funding. A funding shortfall of approximately $694,000 due primarily to inflation was projected, which was not anticipated initially and exceeds total funding for this project. In order to comply with the terms of the agreement, it is requested that the board review the provided information and vote to terminate the reference funding agreement. Once terminated, that will be signed and sent to the county, which will be forwarded to DWR. DWR at that point will make any sort of determination that they may regarding what's already been paid. Although it is not highly probable, it is still possible that they might ask for a reimbursement for what was already paid. Unfortunately, we won't know that until we formally notice it.
What was already paid?
Roughly $280,000.
Okay. Board comment.
Well, given that we can't complete it on time, is there any way to get an extension?
So the direction at the prior meeting was that the board wanted to suspend the project.
Okay.
So if we were to want to continue that project, that would have to be agendized for the next meeting, and we would have to basically put it back out at that point, which doesn't, from that point on, doesn't give us enough time to finish it. But if that was the direction of the board, I mean, obviously we would do that. But it doesn't mean the DWR would give us an extension. So we might go through the effort and still not be able to comply with the terms of this agreement.
So the result is $280,000 to the district out of our funds, right?
So at this point, we've been reimbursed for our costs, and we've billed the county for our costs. I don't know for certain that the DWR is going to want their money back. That would be a discussion with DWR and the county. The county isn't pursuing us to get money back at this point. So it's not highly probable that they're going to want it back, but I can't rule it out. But again, based on the board action at the last meeting, the direction was to suspend the project until full funding was available.
Thank you.
Another board comment. Public comment on this item.
Yes, thank you, Greg Earwall. You guys did the really smart thing. Let me tell you, Paso Robles got $3.5 million. They put it in a pipe that goes to nowhere. They built it. They got the money for it. It went under the river road to the other side. And the $85 million project that was connected to it that they didn't know what it was gonna cost is not gonna happen. So, since that's not gonna happen, do they have to give back that $3.5 million? You guys are less than 300,000. They're 3.5 million. Why would you build a pipeline to nowhere, which you guys were gonna do, until you build the project? This is why your board, your last board, decided like, yeah, we don't have a contract, we don't have the sewer plant, we can't deliver the water. What is the purpose until you have everything in line? They're always putting the cart in front of the horse. So every project that they got the grant money for, the $7.6 million, is in the toilet. Has not been completed, will not be completed. They wasted all the money. It all went to consultants and different people. I call it the carousel of consultants, because all they do is keep going in a circle and everybody gets money to claim the same crap that never gets done. You guys were on the smarter end of the deal. Quit before you get in the hole. If your plant was completed and you could deliver the water and you had a contract with people, makes sense. But you were giving up 200 acre feet of recharge water that was going to be used annually at 80% groundwater to 20% your water that's only going to be used for a few months instead of recharging your own area. Doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. But I appreciate the fact that the last board understood that this didn't make sense, and the county, it's not just them. It's the other parties that are involved. You guys are a minority party of this whole organization. They're running the ship and they're picking what they want to work on that benefits only them, does not benefit you. And you guys actually have the reins if you'll use them. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comment? We do not. All right, back to the board. What would you like to do?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the termination of the grant fund.
Second.
Did you have a question or were you?
No, I was gonna do what Director Green just did.
So we have.
I have a motion on the floor by Director Green to authorize the general manager to provide a formal notification of termination of the grant funding agreement between the County of San Luis Obispo and San Miguel Community Service District for implementation of the San Miguel Recycled Water Supply Project, seconded by Director Sangster. We'll have a vote. Director Smiley?
Yes.
Director Davis?
Yes.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Beatty?
Yes.
Director Sangster?
Yes.
Passes 5-0, no absence.
Now to item number 6, San Lawrence Terrace Booster Pump Station Design Contract Award by Resolution 2024-64.
So this item is to review and approve Resolution 2024-64, authorizing the general manager to execute a contract with Flowers and Associates in an amount not to exceed $124,561. At the October 24th board meeting, the board authorized me to release the RFP for the San Lawrence Terrace Booster Pump Station design. The RFP was posted on the district websites, the clearinghouse, the local plan rooms, and directly sent to all firms who had previously shown any interest or been asked to be notified for future projects. 5 firms attended the pre-bid meeting, which was held on November 14th. Excuse me. 3 proposals were received as of the December 6th deadline: Flowers and Associates, Wallace Group, and Diversified Project Services International. All 3 proposals were reviewed by staff and the district engineer. All 3 proposals were deemed responsive to the RFP. Of the 3 proposals, Flowers and Associates and Wallace Group expressed prior experience with booster pump stations, although all 3 have the capacity to complete the project satisfactorily. There is an award recommendation letter attached, which is from WSC, which is Water Systems Consulting, who is our district engineer. Based on the provided technical and cost proposals, it is recommended that the board authorize a contract with Flowers and Associates for the planning and design of the San Lawrence Terrace booster pump station in an amount not to exceed $142,561. As part of that resolution, there is a budget adjustment for the entire amount of $142,561 to the water budget, object 961, which is San Lawrence Terrace booster pump station. Their proposal is attached. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So is this entirely funded from capital reserves?
So this will be funded from Water Capital Reserve. As developments come in, there will be some sort of buy-in from developments, depending on what side, how big they are. This is also anticipated to be reimbursed through the grant that's being applied for, that if awarded, would cover the cost for completing the design and potentially completing construction.
This says may be eligible for reimbursement.
Well,
And I understood what you just said. May is correct.
yeah, so May is correct. We don't know for certain.
I'm concerned about the liability that's involved in increasing the water pressure to the homes that are as old as they are up there. My neighbor just experienced a leak, and if he had any more pressure coming into his house, he'd have had a mess. I mean, a huge mess.
So part of the driving factor for this project is to make sure that the district complies with the minimum pressure requirements as required by the state, but also to increase fire flow to that area. And as I'm sure you're well aware, Mr. Green, Director Green, a couple of neighbors' houses burned down. And in that particular area, there's not a whole lot of water pressure there.
I felt bad for one of them.
So there is ways to mitigate that. I'm sure some people would like more pressure. Some people with newer homes probably. There is devices available to regulate pressure that can be installed as part of the construction of this project and could be designed into the specifications for construction of this project.
Is the district going to go out and put pressure reducers on all these houses that request them?
So if that's the case, then we would most likely be putting it on the meter, in the meter box, to reduce the pressure at that point. That is something that would have to be determined as we go through the design. So I don't know, right now, I don't know how many would want more pressure and how many don't want more pressure. All I could assume is that everybody doesn't want more pressure.
Living up there, I can tell you I don't want more pressure. It's fine. And I don't know anybody around me that complains about it. Everybody seems very happy with what they got.
We do receive quite a few inquiries, not exactly complaints, but inquiries as to why the pressure is so low. So there is interest to have more pressure there, especially on San Pablo, where they have the lowest pressure in the district. So providing some sort of a pressure regulator to those who request it would be part of the overall plan. But as the best interest for the whole terrace as a whole, increasing the pressure would allow us to maintain the minimum pressure going forward.
But we have minimum pressure there now.
Barely.
Well, so it's a budget adjustment that may be eligible for reimbursement that could include the additional cost of adding reducers for pressure that you just increased. I'm not in favor of it. That's all I got.
So, although that it's not part of this specific project, the subsequent project to this is the construction or the design and construction for additional water storage for the terrace, which would be located at the same site. And when that is built, then some sort of a booster station would be required. So it's up to the board whether you want to move forward with this or not. However, this is something that will be required going forward.
When?
I mean, who knows when the county's going or the state's going to change their mind on what it is, but we are required to make sure that we have minimum pressure available. So we have some homes that have 21, 22 pounds, which 20 pounds is the minimum. So if our main tank is half full, we don't have the minimum pressure.
Let's not have a half tank full.
We can't always control that.
Well, let's do our best. I mean, you can't just keep spending money and then spending more money and then increase the pressure so you can have to decrease the pressure.
Well,
I'm not in favor of it.
in those particular cases,
The only time it ever affected me was when I had sprinklers for my lawn. You just had to put less sprinklers on each valve,
right?
and it wasn't a problem. But we can't afford to water grass anymore in this district, so.
So it's not uncommon for pressure zones to be created and then have customers that have pressure reducing valves, or the entire system to be pressure reduced. If you look at the city of Tascadero, for instance, that mutual water company has, I don't even know how many different pressure zones they have, but some of them are upwards of 200 pounds. Obviously, you're not going to deliver 200 pounds to somebody's house. So, this is something that was identified as a need for the district. It is something that will be required in the near future, depending on growth and overall demand for normal usage. So, we do have an application out with the state for grant funding for this project. There's no sort of timeline on that. It's currently they're not funding new projects because of the shortfall with state funding. It is on their list, so it's really up to them. But this is, again, the first step in this process. Once the project is designed and essentially shovel-ready, then we are in a much better position to apply for future funding to build it.
So you're saying that this is going to be required if we have more water storage on the terrace?
So this will be required at some point, whether we add more storage or not. We already don't have an adequate amount of storage, but building a larger tank doesn't necessarily fix the problem.
Right. I guess you had said that with a larger tank, this booster would be required,
So,
necessary.
so if we move the tank to the corner of River Road and Power Road where it was proposed and the board